Can't you see the door is locked, just you and me? Hi, everybody. It's your old mate, Beetle Dave, calling to you from Derby in the UK. I hope you're well and dandy out there in Beatles land, YouTubers, members of the VC, vinyl community, and people of the internet. Um, as I said, thank you for joining me. This is going to be my find so far for July of 2024. Bearing in mind it is only the 2nd of July today, as I'm recording this. I did go out yesterday to Belper, and we went to a record stall stroke antique place, which I'll go into in a bit. And I've had a couple of things that have come in the post. One came like on Saturday, and the other one came last week, but because of my work commitments, I wasn't able to show you them. So we'll start off with this one. So some are brand new, but the majority are second-hand records from Belper Antiques and Record Centre. The first one is this, Slade Alive, a fantastic live album by one of the greatest rock bands that the UK has ever produced, in my humble opinion. Now, I do have the original copy of this on Polydor, and it is a very, very well played record, but I do still enjoy it. Now, the other day I was watching Gav Axman Spin, sorry. So, hello, Gav. And you showed a copy of this, and I didn't even know this had been reissued. And it is very, very faithful, sort of, to the original album. A fantastic live recording, and you get the hype where it says first released in 1972 and includes the massive anthem Get Down and Get With It, limited edition splattered vinyl. Sounds better and louder the louder you play it, and to be honest, it does. I'll just put my glasses on, just bear with me 1 second. Dreaded granddad glasses. Bear with 1 sec. Just forgot something. Cheers, everybody. Beetle Dave, please like and subscribe. Yeah, so after seeing your video, Gav Axman Spins, I looked on the internet and actually found this record. So it's down to you that I've got this. And I'm very, very glad that I did watch your video. So this is the record. This is the actual sleeve it came in. I'm a bit surprised it wasn't in a polyline sleeve, but I have got another polyline sleeve to put it into. And this is wicked. It really is wicked. Look at that. Look at that, hey? Just look at that. How did it looks like a stick of rock, doesn't it? Like somebody's cut a stick of rock up. I did play this. When did I play this? Saturday night, I think I played it. And to be honest, Sue just says, "Oh, I'm gonna go upstairs, play this record." I says, "I won't put it on very loud." She says, "Put it on as loud as you want." So I did. Fantastic, really, really great sounding record. So this wasn't a lot. I think with the post and the packaging, I got it for about £18.99, I think. So if you like your Slade and you'd like a new copy of this classic live album, check it out on eBay. I'm not endorsed by eBay or the people that make this or anything. This is just my little recommendation. Like I say, I do have the original copy of this from 1972. Very, very well played, and this will be a cherished copy. So thank you, Gav Axman Spins, for putting me onto this. Also, last week, because I was at work, I actually found this, believe it or not, which is August's copy of the Uncut magazine, although you can already get it. It's a while since I bought one of these, and I do know that my mate Beatley Tone of Beatley Tone's Beatles channel did a very, very good feature on this. I'm just showing you this to show you what's out there. Again, I'm not endorsed by Uncut of anything. So you get the raw and personal inside the mind of John Lennon. So you get this. This is the outer like cover. So you get an exclusive John Lennon CD, which has got various mixes from the upcoming box set, and you get a John Lennon album reviewed if you want it. So I'll just show you the CD, and then I will show you. This is the CD. So you get 9 tracks on this. Now I have played it, and to be honest, you won't even be able to see the tracks on there very well. It's got Mind Games Evolution documentary. That is actually quite good, because some people might find it a little bit boring there, but it starts off with like John doing like a demo, and then up to sort of like the finished thing. So it does go on for about 10 minutes, I think. But you can see how that song progressed through every time we did try and record it. Then you've got a fantastic version of I'm the Greatest, the Ultimate Mix. SMS, I'm Sorry, that is an Ultimate Mix. You Are Here, Outtake, Take 5. Titaz Raw Studio Mix. Bring Out the Lucy, Free the People, Essential Mix. Then you've got You Are Here, Elements Mix. Sorry, that Bring Out the Lucy's Elements Mix as well. Out of the Blue, Element Mix, and then Meat City, Evolution Documentary. So there's some long versions of the songs on there, but if you want to sort of like know, if you're thinking of buying the 6 CD 2 Blu-ray deluxe box set thing that's coming out, I'm still in two minds whether to get that or not, to be honest, because I do actually want it, but it is a lot of money. In the UK, I think it's about 120, 130 pounds, but this will give you an idea with the sort of things that are on that. Sound quality on this is absolutely amazing. Usually with Uncut, it's like other people doing the people's songs, so I was quite surprised that this was actually John Lennon on this. So there's that, and then you get this one. You get this little booklet with it. John Lennon, every album reviewed if you want it. So it's like taking the mickey out of War Is Over if you want it, into sort of thing. And they do review virtually every John Lennon album on this. They review Two Virgins, Life with the Lions, the Wedding Album, Live Peace in Toronto, Plastic Ono Band, Imagine, Sometime in New York City, Mind Games, Walls and Bridges, Rock and Roll, Double Fantasy, Milk and Honey, and then the John Lennon Anthology. And they rate every song on them albums out of a top rating system of 5. So it's 1 means it's absolutely rubbish, and 5 means it's absolutely brilliant. You've got to get this just to see how they've reviewed some of the songs off Imagine worse than some of the songs off the experimental LPs. I read this, and actually at first I thought it was a little bit of a Mickey tape, but I don't. I think it is a serious sort of like review. You know, but with all these sort of like review things, it's the person that's reviewing them, isn't it? It's like you watch YouTube video. I could say, you know, I don't agree with anything in here, but I do agree with the majority of it. It's just I just think it's weird that what let's, if I can remember what it was. It was they've got they've got 3 stars uh, for the Two Virgins album. Each side gets 3 stars, right? And then on Imagine, we'll get to the right page first, eh, folks? Imagine the song itself only gets 3 stars. It's So Hard only gets 2 stars off the Imagine album. Oh My Love only gets 3 stars. How Do You Sleep only gets 3 stars. Now, I'm not being funny, but How Do You Sleep, in my humble opinion, is better than anything on the experimental albums. And don't forget, I do actually like the experimental John Lennon and Yoko Ono albums. I mean, they give How 5 stars, and they give Jealous Guy 5 stars. So, you know, it's a bit strange how they've done it. It's just a bit of fun, folks, at the end of the day, isn't it? Something a little bit different. So that's the new stuff that I've sort of got. Although technically these came before the beginning of July, but I didn't have time to play until it was July, or the very last day of June. If that makes sense. So that, like I say, that was that was, I think, £7 something, that Uncut magazine, and this with the post and packaging was about £18. So at nearly 10 minutes now, folks. So this is the. Now we're going to go into the albums that I got yesterday from our trip to Belper. We went to Belper because Sue's birthday is coming up at the weekend, but I'm going to be working. So because I had a day off, I thought I'd take her out, treat her for some dinner and stuff. As you do, don't you? You've got to look after, the people that you love. Um, yeah, and I wasn't actually going to go in this antique and record centre. And then Sue goes, "Well, aren't we going in there?" And he goes, "It's your birthday. Do what?" "Yeah, I want to go in there." So I bought, I think it's nine records. They weren't exactly cheap, but they weren't exactly expensive. But they are records that I've been looking to get over the past few months, to be honest. Some of them are records that I did have before I got rid of my original record collection years ago. And then others are things I've heard people talking about, or I might have just had a few singles off the artists and thought, well, I'll get a couple of albums. It came to just under £100 for these records at the prices he'd got them at. He did do me a deal, and I think I paid something like £80. So they work at roughly about £8.20 each. But that isn't the real truth, because some of them were £20 and some of them were £3. But most were around the £10 mark, £10, £12 mark. Excuse me one sec. So the first one is The Beat, not the Beatles, The Beat. And this is an album called I Just Can't Stop It. Believe it or not, I've never had this. Well, I have. I've got a really battered up copy that Dennis gave me. So on here, you've got some of the big hits that the Beat had. You've got Mirror in the Bathroom, Hands Off, She's Mine. Then you've got Two Swords, Twist and Crawl, Rough Rider, and Click, Click. Then side two, you've got Big Shot, Wine and Grime, Stand Down Margaret. I think that was a B-side, wasn't it, Stand Down Margaret? Noise in This World, Can't Get Used to Losing You, which was a really, really big hit. Best Friend and Jackpot, and it's on the Go Feet record label, because obviously these did do a record for, or a single for, two-tone label, and then they went off to do their own label, as did the Selector and other bands. I've cleaned these. I did clean them this morning, and when I clean mine on my project record cleaning vacuum machine thing, I always put them into brand new anti-static sleeves, right? So this is side one, and that is side two. Now, if you live in America, you might never have seen these labels before. I think there is a version of the Beat still going to this day, although I don't think there's many original members of it. So that is that one, and the original inner sleeve is in here. So I didn't think that was bad. I mean, usually for a decent copy of that, you're talking £15 to £20, roughly. Then I got another one by the Beat. What happened? That was from 19. This one, that's from 1980. That one, and then this one is from 1981, I think. Yeah, so this one is from 1981. So this is like the follow-up. So on here you've got Doors of Your Heart, All Out to Get You, Monkey Murders, I Am Your Flag, French Toast, and Drowning. Side two is Dream House in Oz, Walk Away, Over and Over, Cheated, Get a Job, and The Limits are Set. Now I must admit, although I've seen this album around loads and loads of times, I don't think I've ever heard anything off this LP. I could be wrong, but as far as I can remember, I've never ever heard this LP. Unless I've been, like when you used to go to parties and stuff when you was a kid, and somebody had it on. The Beat were quite a good band from Birmingham, aren't they, originally? So that is side one. Again, I'll show you the labels because you might not know what they look like if you live outside the UK. Now these did need a clean, but to be honest, they have come up really, really nice. So that's a tip for you if you are getting into record collecting and you're buying lots of records and you're taking the time, clean them, whether you've got a a proper machine or you do it with one of these spin clean things. Make sure you buy some new anti-static inner sleeves. Keep the original ones as well, but it's waste time cleaning your records, put back into a dirty sleeve. That's my bit of free advice for today, folks. Then there's this one. See what I mean? I'm going back to like my teenage years. Gosh, it's Bad Manners. Bad Manners were a bit of a weird band, to be honest, because I could never work out if they were a proper ska band or like a mixtape band. I.e., Madness did some fun songs, but you always knew that the ska at the heart of the band. They had some fantastic hits, though. To be honest, we've actually went to see them a few years ago, and to be honest, no disrespect, because I don't know if Mr. Blood Vessel Buster wasn't very well or something, but the band was supposed to come on about 9 o'clock, and I think we were still waiting for him to come on at 11 o'clock. And when he came on, it was like he might as well not bothered. It's like he didn't really want to be there. But everybody has the bad days, don't they? But I've seen him before. I saw him in the mid-80s. I think there's only him that's out the original band that's still in it. So I know you've got Walking on the Sunshine. That was a massive hit in the UK. Then you've got The Setter. You've got Can Can. Again, Can Can. So is that a proper, them trying to do a serious song? Was it a mixtape? Now, to me, that is a mixtape. It is good, though. It is good. I must admit, it is good. Then you've got Weeping and Wailing, Casablanca, Rags and Riches, Don't Be Angry, live recording. Side 2 is Ben E. Wiggle, Runaway, Never Will Change, Only Funkin', End of the World, and Checkering. Again, apart from Walking in the Sunshine and Can Can, I don't think I've ever heard any of these songs. But having said that, I've got a Bad Manners compilation CD somewhere in one of the boxes over there, and some of these songs might be on that because that was like mainly early stuff. He went and tried to do his own like restaurants, didn't he? And he called them Fatty Towers instead of Faulty Towers, Fatty Towers. But I think I'm right in saying it went bust. Still touring today, Buster and the boys. So what I've said about when we last time we saw him wasn't very good. Please do not let that put you off because I'm sure he was just having an off day. I do know people that know Buster very well. In fact, some of them are sort of like relatives of mine, and they go and see Buster quite regularly. And they was at that gig, to be honest. Um, and they did just say he was just having a bad day, whether he'd had one too many drinks or something, because he does like his old beer, doesn't he? Or did, should I say? But yeah, so all those so far are fantastic albums. Um, Now the next artist, I bought two albums of his yesterday, and although it is somebody who I grew up with, I listened to his music on the radio and things like that. It's somebody I've never ever had an album by, which might sound a bit stupid, thinking, well, Beatle Dave used to be into his punk and his new wave and his ska and stuff like that as well. And it's Elvis Costello. Um, I had a lot of his singles when I was young. I had Radio, Pump It Up. What else was the one? Oliver's Army. I Can't Stand Up for Falling Down. I did have quite a few of his singles. Um, and this was, I've got to get this right. It's like the beat ones. One was £12 and one was 15. Now, but Elvis Costello, one was £12 and one was 18, and I can't remember which was which, but these were the most expensive ones that I actually bought. So we'll start off with this one. This is this year's model. Well, this year's model, if you didn't say that right. I think this is from about 1978 off the top of my head. I'll probably look at the label now and say something completely different. That Bad Manners one, by the way, it's got like a bit of a textured sleeve. Now when you touch it, it is like very, very textured. So that is the front cover, and then that is the back cover. So this is classed as Elvis Costello and the Attractions, which most of Elvis Costello's stuff was released as that in the late 70s, early 80s. So on side one, that is side one, by the way, and then that is side two. You can see these okay, and I think this has got an inner sleeve with it, if I remember. I think it's got an inner sleeve. There was one set. Yes, that is the inner sleeve. So on here you have actually got before mentioned "Pump It Up." That song, I always love that. Boom, 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 boom. And I think there's a couple of other ones on here that I do know. Ding, 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 ding. Very, very hard to read, to be honest, this. Because if you look at that, you can hardly, I mean, you can see it better on there than what I can on here. I think I Don't Want to Go to Chelsea's on there as well. Yeah, I Don't Want to Go to Chelsea and Pump It Up. They're the two big hits off this one. In some ways, he's a very, very underrated artist, I think, Elvis Costello. His dad was actually a famous musician in his own right, wasn't he? Duncan McManus, was it? Or was that Elvis's real name? Somebody McManus was his dad, anyway. And his dad did the original commercial for R. White's Lemonade. People of a certain age in the UK remember that one. R. White's Lemonade. I'm a secret lemonade drinker. R. White's. So that, I'm very happy to have that. Again, I haven't had time to play that yet. I've played some of these. Then we've got this one, Trust. I'm just got to go. I've just got to do something, folks. Otherwise, this might switch itself off. My laptop has decided that it's going to switch itself off. So just bear with me 1 second. I'm not going to switch it off. So if you see me back or anything, I will apologise. But just give me 2 secs. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. That's it. We're all back and running now. Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah. So I'm very, very happy to have some Elvis Costello at long last on LP. Like I said, I did used to have some of the singles years ago. And you might remember that a few weeks ago, I got the Velvet Underground and Nico LP. And I was actually surprised how much I like that. So yesterday, in that Belper Antiques and Record store, I saw this. Walk on the Wild Side, the very best of Lou Reed. Or the best of Lou Reed. I think this is a very early compilation that came out in around 1977, I think it was, on RCA. So you get Satellite of Love, Wild Child, I Love You, How Do You Think It Feels, New York Telephone Conversation, then Walk on the Wild Side. Side 2 is Sweet Jane, White Light, White Heat, Sally Can't Dance, Nowhere at All, and Coney Island Baby, or Coney Island Baby. I think this was £12. Like I say, it worked out roughly about £8 each. After knocked me a bit of discount off, so some were a little bit more than that. Some that is the original inner sleeve. But I have put it in the anti-static sleeve, polylined anti-static sleeve. Again, this one looked terrible. Well, not terrible. I could tell it'd clean up nice, but it did need a clean. All of these needed cleaning, so I've cleaned them all this morning. And now that does actually look like a brand new record. I mean, Walk on the Wild Side. How many of you actually ever listened to the lyrics of that song? Um, it's a very, very strange song in a lot of ways. And at the time, I don't think the radio DJs actually realised what that song was on about. If you do know that, those that know. It's not as straightforward as it sounds, that song, is it? Then there's this one, Soft Cell. In America and other places, you might not know who Soft Cell were. They were like a sort of like synthesized pop duo from the early 80s. They had a massive hit with a reworking of Tainted Love. Sometimes I feel I've got to but theirs was a very like electronic version of it. They did have some quite good songs, to be honest. You know, people used to laugh at them and say they were crap and that the bloke on the keyboard was still learning how to play the keyboards, which at the beginning he probably was. So on here we've got Memorabilia from February 1980. Then we've got Tainted Love from July 1980. Then you've got Bedsitter from October 1980. That's actually quite a good song, sitting here in Bedsit land. Then we've got Say Hello, Wave Goodbye from January 1982. Now, to me, that is one of the best songs that these ever did. Again, just in my humble opinion. And then side one finishes off with Torch, and that was from April 1982. So on side two, we'll kick off with What? Tell me what did it. That's from July 1982. Then there's Where the Heart Is from November 1982. Numbers from February 1983. Soul Inside, September 1983. And then Down in the Subway, February 1984. And then it gives you a bit of brief information about the band. Nice cover, really is a nice cover. I think this was down as being £14 or something. Black inner sleeve, but again I have put it into this new anti-static. Yeah, so this was on Some Bazaar. That was the label was called Some Bazaar. Again, I don't think this you're gonna get out with this because this hates white labels, doesn't it? Oh, you can see a bit of it there, can't you? Amen. Mark Oldman, of course, went on to have quite a bit of success as a solo artist. He did do a version of The Days of Pearly Spencer, which some of you might remember, and he did a few like Scott Walker numbers as well and released them as singles. Still going now. He was a bit of a strange bloke though, to be honest. Don't mean that in a horrible way. I don't know. There's just something always about him. Around the set time of this, you had these, and then you had Erasure, and you either liked Soft Cell or you liked Erasure. And I liked some of Soft Cell's uh, singles. I did have the first album, which Bed Sitter and Tainted Lover on it, if I remember rightly. Yeah, and I thought that was a fantastic album. Never bought anything after that. It's always seemed to be on top of the pops though, back here in the UK. This next one might surprise you. Beatle Dave, and it's Prince album, or Prince and the Revolution, as it was at this time. This is one of the albums that I did have many, many years ago, and I can remember hearing the song Raspberry Beret played on the radio, and I actually thought it was like an old psychedelic song that somebody had found, like an obscure psychedelic song, and like remixed it for the 1980s, which there was quite a bit of that going around in the 80s and early 90s. And then I discovered it was actually by Prince and the Revolution, and this album is called Around the World in a Day. Yeah, so you've got Around the World in a Day, You've got Paisley Park. Paisley Park is a fantastic song. That sounds very psychedelic as well, and it even sounds a bit like Jimi Hendrix in places. Then you've got Condition of the Heart, Raspberry Beret, and Tambourine. Tambourine is a weird song. I was listening to this morning. Then you've got America, you've got Pop Life, The Ladder, and then you've got Temptation. I think this was like one of the last proper albums by Prince and the Revolution. Remember that? I think they did a live one, didn't they, after this? And did have, because this used to flip round, didn't it? So it would have been gone like that, if I remember rightly. Or like that. Probably like that. That used to be like flipped around, but that's come off over the mists of time. So I was quite happy to get this one. Not the world's biggest Prince fan, to be honest. I do like a few of his songs after this, although most people said he was going weird when he did this, but I think this was like his sort of like homage to 1960s pop music. There's a bit of everything on this actually. Probably not everybody's cup of tea. It's a record that in the UK you don't very often see this unless it's like a super duper repackaged, reissued thing. This is an original. And like I said, I did play this morning and it sounds amazing. I was absolutely gobsmacked how good this did sound. It actually sounded better than what I remembered it sounding. So yeah, that is one that I'm really, really happy to get. I'm not going to go out and start buying Prince records. Don't worry. This one will do me. Maybe if I get a Prince greatest hits or something like that, then that will do me. I don't need to get every record Prince ever made. This to me is like Prince pretending he's Jimi Hendrix or something like that. But it works. It was a fantastic guitarist. In fact, just while I'm on about Prince, there is a video that is on YouTube. Well, I think it's still on YouTube, and it's him. Not just him. There's like a lot of people. There's Dave Grohl and people like that doing a version of George Harrison's "While My Guitar Gently Weeps," and Prince nails the guitar. When you see him playing the guitar, yes, he was a fantastic musician. Anyway, he was a fantastic songwriter. He was a fantastic singer, and he was a fantastic dancer. But I think if you want to see the true Prince, you've got to watch that. And his face, you can see is living his dream in one way, like playing this fantastic guitar part of While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and the rest of them sort of like look at him in amazement as like, bloody hell, look at him. So, and that's the people he's playing with. Lastly, we've got this is quite funny really. I picked this up 3 times yesterday, and then I thought, no, sod it, I'm going to get it because I think this was up for about £4 or £5. And it's a band called the Soup Dragons. Now, if you live outside the UK, you probably have never ever heard of the Soup Dragons. And it makes me laugh because every time I hear the Soup Dragon, I think of a kids program that used to be on BBC in the UK, and it was called The Clangers. And they all lived on the moon, and it was all made out of like wool. And the Soup Dragon was like the leader of like all the people that was on the moon. Yeah. And this band, the Soup Dragons, did actually have, quite a few like little hits. Don't know if they're still going or not, but this is actually a 12-inch version of I'm Free, the old Rolling Stones song. And when I said to you, when I heard Raspberry Beret for the first time on radio, I thought it was an obscure 60s psychedelic song that somebody had redone for the today's sort of market. And this is what these did. And actually, it does work. In my opinion, this does work. It is one of the better ones. We had, was it Candy Flip, somebody like that, who did a version of Strawberry Fields Forever. Now, to me, that didn't work where this does. Again, that is just my opinion. You might say, Dave, you don't know what you're talking about. And if you think that, you think that. I appreciate your thoughts as much as mine. But I think this did get into the UK charts, and I can remember seeing them doing it on Top of the Pops and things like that. So, yeah, I'm Free, featuring Junior Reid, Jagger Richards. But the label's a bit weird on this. And then on the B side, you've got Love God Dub. Don't know what that means, Love God Dub. I haven't played this, so I don't know. I presume they had a song called Love God, and this is the dub mix of it. But yeah, Soup Dragons. I'm free to do what I want any old time. Better love me, hold me. Better shut up or I might get a copyright strike. So that's it. That is my find so far for July 2024. Nearly said 2023 there. Again, I'm quite happy with them. Yes, it is quite a lot of money what I've paid for, but they are records that I've been after or used to have. So to me, that is money well spent. I am still waiting for a couple more records to come. I've got a David Bowie one coming, which again is thanks down to Gav Axman Spins. So you'll know which one it is, mate. It is an LP, not the box set thing. And I am still waiting for my John Lennon Double Mind Games LP, which isn't out till the 12th. So that should be here, but around that time anyway. I've ordered that from the John Lennon estate. And that's it. That's about it for today. So I hope this hasn't been too boring. I hope you've had some enjoyment looking at them records, and you're probably thinking, bloody hell, Beatle Dave, why have you bought some of them? But I have tried to explain to you I have. One, to get into newish artists and what one other artists. And again, some of them were albums that I did have originally years and years ago. A couple of them I've still got, but they are upgrade copies. So peace and love to you all. Remember, splendid time is guaranteed for you all here on Beatle Dave. And I hope you have had a splendid time. Remember, you are the beat of Beatle Dave. Without you, this channel would be nothing. And I wouldn't know what to do with myself on my days off. I'd have to start doing the gardening or cleaning my car. Or if you saw the state of my car. So that's going to be it. No Beatles twist and shout outs today because unfortunately this was a last minute thing. I thought, shall I do one today or not? And then I'm thinking, well, I'm supposed to be working next weekend, so you might get this at the weekend, or you could get it today, which is Tuesday, the 2nd of July. So I might do this as a premiere and do it later for today. So, like I say, peace and love to you all. Just remember, if you're not subscribed, by the way, please think about subscribing. It is free, doesn't cost you a penny. It takes a second or even a microsecond to press that button. And if you want to press the bell for notifications, that is entirely up to you even. If you've liked this video, please leave me a thumbs up. If you haven't liked it, please just leave me a thumbs up anyway, or leave me a comment to tell me why you didn't like it. Beatle Dave, the record collector. I collect records. You know, I am a Beatles fanatic, so 99.9% of the time it is about the Beatles. But we did a long one about the Beatles the other day, so I thought, well, we'll do this one just to show people what other sorts of music I do like or I'm trying to get back into and things like that. So please leave me a comment. If you've enjoyed it, thank you very much. If you've got right to the end of this video, thank you very much. Once again, I love you all. Peace and love, and I will catch you all again very, very soon. Whatever you're doing, please stay safe. Remember, Beatle Dave loves you all. Bye bye.